my name is Trydar. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build a whole galaxy in Minecraft. Let's get started. And by whole galaxy, I of course mean a scale model of the galaxy you are currently residing in, the Milky Way. It's a barred spiral design. Of course, we have the galaxy core there, the bar there, and of course the spiral arms spiraling off of the center and everything. Now this galaxy design I'm going to be showing you here is designed to be used as a ceiling in an upcoming build I'm going to be doing, but it's in its own video in case you want to have a separate galaxy ceiling or starfield ceiling in a room you already have. And conversely, as we go, if we want to flip the entire thing over, we could use it as a floor as well. Although I think the effect looks best when it's on the ceiling, because, you know, Minecraft. All the blocks look their best when you see them from a distance, so you can kind of step back and see the hole and everything. But with that said, let's get started on the tutorial. Now, this is going to be a very complicated shape to build, so I've tried to format the tutorial in a way I think will make the most sense. What we're going to do is we're going to be building it in slices like all the tutorials I normally do, except instead of going from bottom to top, we're going to be going straight across. And you've already seen the dimensions and materials list. So it's going to be a box of 75 by 75. And here I have it flipped over as a floor, but for the design that we're going to be taking a look at today, it's going to be flipped over for use as a ceiling, meaning that the layer we have right here is actually going to be starting down here. And the first thing we want to do to lay it out is going to be to clear a space of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks tall by 75 blocks long. Now I've done this box out of obsidian, but any dark block you have that's really close to an obsidian black will do. It could be some black concrete or some black wool or something. Just anything that's really dark. Even some black stone would do, I think. Otherwise, we won't get the effect of our galaxy being suspended in space when we look at it from above. So that's a pretty key feature. But like I said, the first thing you want to do is do your first phase here of 9 blocks tall by 75 blocks long. And that's going to form the first side of our box. And it's also going to be phase 1. All right, so phase 2, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So the next thing we want to do is be extending our box. It's going to be extending along the sides here. This is going to be extending out from here all the way down there when we get through with it. With all the 75 phases, it's going to be 75 blocks long. And for the first layer down here at the bottom, we want to take the black stained glass and run a line of it just straight across for 73 blocks until we get to the other side here, which should be these 75 blocks in total. Not counting the one we started out with over there. And all of these other blocks you see right here, these are designed to be filler blocks. In other words, these blocks should be left as air blocks. You don't actually want to put any blocks here. I've just put these here because they form a nice grid pattern for us to be able to see. And for that grid pattern, you will notice above and below here, I have put numbers on signs. And this is going to be probably the most amount of help I can give to help you get everything in the proper placement. Because you remember how that looked over there. We have a very organic shape, very irregular, and we're trying to fit it in a box. So in order to do that in any sort of reasonably structured tutorial, we're going to be employing a grid pattern for that. So if we go back down here, we can see from top to bottom we have signs listing numbers 1 to 73. So we're going to be starting at the left over here and moving to the right, and we're going to be kind of 3D printing the galaxy as we go. Now these signs here, they aren't floating. These signs right here are in front of another layer of black stained glass. If I go back over here before we get away from it, we can see now that the top layer of this is a solid sheet of black stained glass. Below that, we have some end rods right here, and once you get a distance away from these appear to be individual stars, sort of in the foreground between us and the more distant galaxy. So these are going to sit in an air gap, and below those is going to be another sheet of black stained glass, just like we have on the top here. And then below that, there's going to be the air gaps. So if I just open this up a little here, we can see right here, we have the two sheets of stained glass. Sandwiched in between those, we have all of these end rods, just like so. You don't want to put any more than two sheets of stained glass, black stained glass, otherwise it'll shade out the galaxy too much and make it just a little bit too dim. And then below that, we're going to have open air gaps of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 blocks. And it's in this 5-block gap here is where we're going to be building this galaxy. But we're doing it with the numbered slices in this one because I think even though this build is small enough to do it as a block-by-block time-lapse, all of the massive glass in here and everything else is just going to be too difficult to do, even if I did show you each block at a time. So we're going to have to take the long, slower path around. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to be able to get a very good reproduction of it. This is actually one time that the plain glass blocks serve a useful purpose. You don't generally use them. I prefer the stained, but if we back off from them a little bit, they sort of look like more distant clusters of stars and everything that round out the galaxy. It's a really nice, pleasing effect, I think. And of course, the core appears to be brighter of the galaxy because we do have a hole in the second layer of dark stained glass, black stained glass under here, that I removed to make the core more visible. And it's mostly just solid sea lanterns as well, just like a typical galaxy core you would have. And that's about as bright as we're going to be able to get that. So I tried to make the galaxy self-illuminating, so it does have here and there not just the end rods, but it does have more sea lanterns and blocks of glowstone here and there as well. Alright, so I hope that makes sense of how I formatted the tutorial right here. So all the phases are labeled, so we're on phase 2 right now. I don't know if we're going to get them all in today, but I'll try and get a lot of them in. Just enough to get you started. So you've seen all the materials that you're going to need. And the dimensions, the 75 by 75 by 9, I believe. And this is going to go in the ceiling in whichever room you want to put this in. Conversely, if you want to make this as a floor, instead of starting on here for the bottom, you would have to reverse that and start probably what? And start up here where sign number 1 is right there for a floor design. But if you do want there's going to be another type of floor that's not going to come out until another tutorial. That's just going to show you how to do a simple star field as a floor without the complex galaxy in it. Alright, so a lot of talking. Let's get things on the road. So you can see here we have all the filler blocks. The filler blocks are just here to help you count. Remember that. You don't actually want to build those. So if we slowly pan along, we can see here in phase 2, these are all air blocks. You have absolutely nothing to build. Easy phase. Phase 3 is going to be pretty much the same, I think, actually. So if we just scroll along through here, we can see that there are only air blocks to place for phase 3. But that's going to change here in phase 4. So if we just slowly slide over left to right, counting from 1 to 73, like so, we can see right here we have a glass block that's appeared, and it's appeared at slot 29, 2 blocks down. Now I'm not going to count the down for every single block. I'm just going to pause here, And you can see on the top and the bottom what the numbering is for the block. The rest of the texture pack I've chosen here for the glass and everything will help you count everything out. There's only 5 blocks in there, so I shouldn't need to count that out, I don't think. But if we continue sliding along, we see down below here we have our first N-Rod stars appearing. Down below here at position 41 and 46. And I don't think there's any more if we just back it a little way. So there's only 3 blocks to place in phase 4. So I'll let you do that. We'll move on here to phase 5. So if we start over here, left or right, start panning over until we actually see something. We see another glass block has appeared at slot 24. Another one here at 27. 31. 34. 37. 41. And I think that's going to be all for that one. Let's look below here for the stars. We're going to do, I think the pattern we're going to do, we should probably do, what? We'll do the N-rods first, and then we'll swing back and do the star positions. So at 60 and 62, we have positions of upside down N-rods, just like so, and that's going to be all there is for that phase. And as we go, do feel free to pause the video and replicate the block patterns and everything. And also, to give you the maximum amount of help I'm capable of giving you, this world here with the reference model and everything, and all the, and then the sheet over there, is available for download in the video description for both Java and Bedrock versions. So continuing on here with phase 6. Let's start down here with the N-rod stars. Let's pan over until we actually see one. Here we are. We have one at position 43. And that's all there is, just one. They're going to get more thick as we approach the center, though. All right, so let's go back here. Let's see. Our first glass block appears here at position 22. Then 2 at 26. 1 at 29. 33. 36. And 39 here. And here we have now a, this looks like a regular blue stained glass here at position 38. Now, as we go, some of the positions of the glass, I wouldn't worry about getting the color exactly right, because some of this, you know, stained glass is kind of hard to show in tutorials. But just use any color of full block stained glass you want here, and it will average out from the materials list. Position 43, regular full block of glass. And that's all I see. So we will move on now to phase 7. Phase 7 out of 75, so we got quite a ways to go. Let's remember to start down here. See where our first N-rod appears, if any appear. Here we are, position 28. An upside down N-rod. Is there another one? No, only one. Only one. So let's come back here, reset. Let's see, our first block of glass appears here, position 21. And then the next blocks of glass start appearing at positions 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, and several more block numbers over. Now we do have at position 29 another blue stained glass. Here at 33, it looks like, what? Light blue or cyan stained glass. And also below that, we got some purple stained glass here at 35. And blue stained glass 36. And also at 38. Light blue or cyan at 39. And then regular glass at positions 40 and 42. And that's all there is. And I believe this is going to represent, I think, one of the outer edges is one of the spiral arms is what we're working on now. So here, phase 8. Let's go below here. Let's see where our first end rod appears. And, oh, it's all the way over here, position 71. And there's just one. That's not too bad. All right, let's reset. Let's see where we are again here at positions 19 and 20, our first blocks of glass. Then at 22, right in the middle, light blue stained glass. Glass beginning again here at 24 and 25. We've got white stained glass here at 26. A couple of colors of blue stained glass and our first sea lantern here, position 27. And then white, purple, blue, and red nether bricks here at position 29. And I've chosen the red nether bricks because they give off that sort of that hydrogen alpha emission line that gives us a nice rich red color. I think I have also worked in a bit of wool later on. But of course, a lot of space nebulas are red, so we had to have a dash of red, but we can also have a dash of blue if we want it to be an emission nebula. All right, so beside that, at 30 and 31, we have regular glass, a few blocks of purple working in. Here we also do have our first block of terracotta. That's going to be, I don't remember if it's full purple terracotta. It's whatever color matches of this in terracotta from the materials list. And then a couple more sea lanterns, some more red nether brick, some more purple and terracotta, various colors of stained glass. Our first glowstone block has appeared, as well as a slightly different terracotta. That may be red or magenta. I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell various colors of terracotta. While we're on that, just to make that easier, where's the terracotta stored? Let's see what color that matches. Nope. Nope. Oh. It's purple terracotta. And what color is that? I bet that was the blue terracotta. Let me go back. Never mind the texture pack. It's just I'm doing this in 1.12, so I'm cheating with that. That's blue terracotta. Right there. So we have the blue terracotta there and the purple terracotta back down here. And now that I've identified these, I'm not going to do that for every block, but here we have. I think we have some pink and some orange. And some purple stained glass. Like I said, just use whatever color stained glass you think gets closest to this, and it doesn't particularly matter, because all I did was just hit the randomizer brush to get the exact placement on a lot of these. So here at 41, 42, and 43, we have a lot of normal stained glass blocks. Regular glass blocks. One block of light blue stained glass there. And then rounding out at 45 and 46, we have some regular glass blocks. All right, moving on. Phase 9. Position 4, we have an end rod. And then, do we have any more end rods? No. The end rods are fairly sparse. I did put more of those, but it competed too much with the Galaxy, so I thinned them out. I don't think we're going to have more than maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 maximum per phase in those. So phase 9 up here for the Galaxy. So let's scroll over to position 18, where we have our first blocks of glass appearing here. A bit of stained glass and some nether wart down here as well. We needed to have a more richer color for some of the nebula blocks, so I chose red nether wart for that. Perhaps if you have access to, I think it's the crimson hyphae block. It's that red stem block from the nether comes out of the mushrooms. You might want to put that maybe for the red nether brick, or maybe for this block. You'll have to see just how it goes. So here you can see the number positions and the block positions. I'm just going to kind of scroll over here. A bit of white stained glass, a lot of glowstone, Some more colors of, what is that? I don't think that's the red. That looks like, it looks like magenta. Magenta and blue, terracotta for those. Starting around positions 26 and what, 28 and 30. And you'll just have to follow the block pattern here. This is kind of getting to the point where me listing off all the blocks isn't going to be that profitable for you. I've made the block identifications though for everything, so you should be able to get this as long as you pause and go pretty slowly. And one more full glass block position 48, and that rounds out that phase. All right, so phase 10. Let's see, do we have any end rods in phase 10? I see one. It's going to be at position 59. All right, coming back up to the galaxy level, let's scroll over where we see our first glass blocks appearing at position 17 and 18. And then in here we have our first block of lapis coming in. Because we have the light blue and shades of blue stained glass, we needed to have a darker blue block to represent just more contrast in our emission nebulas. Or maybe that's the reflection nebulas. I think red is actually an emission nebula and blue are the reflection nebulas. I think I misspoke earlier. But anyway, we do have to have blue and red, so that's what we've got here for those. And I chose lapis to use for that just because I like to use lapis when I can. It's got a really nice color to it. Pairs with the glass really well. So let's scroll over here. You can see also we do have a couple of end rods working their way into the design. Here and there. And those would, I think, represent like more distant globular star clusters maybe. Or open clusters, depending. But adding some end rods did give a bit of extra light inside the galaxy. I mean, we do have a lot of glowstone and sea lanterns and everything, but here and there, it just made it made for a more richly textured galaxy. Because as you can see, our galaxy isn't just a flat disk. We do have an actual shape to it. So when you walk around underneath it, you can get a very slight parallax effect. All right, so scrolling past all of that, we have our last glass block appearing at position 50. And we can then go on to phase 11. We have any end rods appearing in phase 11? I don't see a 1. All right, so we'll just start with the galaxy then. So our first galaxy blocks appear here at position 16. And they continue over to the right. In a couple of places you can see right down here, we do have some panes appearing. I did work a few glass panes into the design. It's just a plain glass pane right here. Because when we're looking over the top of this, it forms this nice little cross pattern. Kind of like you would get as a diffraction spike if you were looking at it through a telescope. Specifically, I think you would have to look at this through the Hubble telescope to get a four spiked diffraction on that. If you were going to use the James Webb Space Telescope for this one, of course, you would get actually an 8-pointed diffraction spike. The 6 main spikes and then 2 smaller spikes. Because of the way this telescope is laid out with the hexagonal mirrors and the struts and everything. But that's dependent on whatever telescope you would use for that. I suppose if you could use like a plain sheet of glass and you didn't need to have anything to hold up the focus of it, you could get no diffraction spikes at all. That'd be pretty neat. But nobody's done that I know of, so... All right, sliding along, we have our last glass block appearing here at position 49. So that'll take us to phase 12. Let's see, I see one end rod appearing here at phase 12, down at the bottom, here at position 53. All right, and then down here, our first blocks appear at position 15. A bit of plain glass, red nether brick, and that looks like purple stained glass. Then we've got various colors of pink and magenta and white and everything rolling off to the side here. We do have, looks like we have a glass pane here and here. Some of the glass panes aren't going to be, are going to be harder to see, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I only used a plain glass pane, so I should point those out as we get to them. So there's going to be one right here, right there at positions 20 and 22. And then back here at 25 and 27. And then one below the red nether wart block there. Looks like we have another here at 28. Another right down there at position 40. I see another one. Well, no, that was the wrong one. The pane is at position 41. Sorry. I see another one down there, position 43, down at the bottom. And our last glass block appears here, position 51. All right, phase 13. Let's take a look at the end rods. Down here, we have one at position 3. And I don't see any more. All right, so moving up to the galaxy level, we have our first glass blocks appearing here, position 14. I see a pane right there at position 19 where the cursor is. There's another pane right here at 25. Several blocks over here. And I don't see any more panes here. And our last glass block appearing at position 52. All right, phase 14. I see an end rod down over here. We have two end rods at positions 45 and 46. So let's go to the galaxy level. We have our first blocks appearing here at position 13. And then here we have an end rod at position 43. Not seeing any panes yet. There's one at position 50. And our last glass block here, position 54. All right, phase 15. Let's see. We've got three end rods here at positions 32, 43, and 52. All right, moving back over here, our first blocks appear in the galaxy at position 12. And then they go over to 19, and then we get a little gap. One at 25, 36, 39, and it starts up again at 41. And I see a pane right down there at position 44. And our last glass block appears here at position 56. All right, phase 16. I don't see any N-rods in phase 16. Down there, our first blocks appear, though, at the galaxy level at position 11 and extend to 18. One at 22, 34, 38, 42, and they start at 40, and they start up again at 42. And they stop at position 55. All right, phase 17. Now let's see, I see some N-rods down here on the end. So these are at positions 57 and 64. For those two, let's go back to the galaxy level. Our first blocks appear at position 10 and go to 16. There is a pane right here. All right, then they appear again at 32, 35, and 37. And then the core starts up around 43. There's a glass pane down here at position 49. And our last block at position 58. All right, phase 18. There is one end rod at position 50. For the galaxy, we have starting at position 9 and going to 13, these blocks here. This block here and this block look like panes. All right, then we have blocks appearing again at 29, 30, and 32, beginning at 32 with a blue stained glass and moving over. I see a pane here. Are there any panes back? Yeah. There's one pane there. And they stop at position 56. All right, moving on, phase 19. Let's see one end rod here at position 28. All right, our main blocks for the galaxy begin here at position 8 and extend to block 15. And then start up again at position 29. And we have an end rod down there, position 49. And then the blocks stop at 59. All right, phase 20. I don't see a single end rod down there, so we'll start with the galaxy. Position 7 to 11, glass blocks. I believe the one at position 10 here is a pane. Starting up again at 25. an end rod down there at 51, and stopping at position 60. Phase 21. I see 3 end rods at positions 46, 68, and 72. Going back to the galaxy level, we have a couple of blocks here at positions 6 and 7. This one here appears to be a pane. And then they pick up again at position 26. And I think I see a pane here at position 29. Another pane here at position 44. An end rod at 49. Another end rod at 57. And then the last glass block at 58. Phase 22. I see no end rods in this phase, so we will move to the galaxy. At positions 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we have these blocks here. This block here appears to be a pane. Three glass blocks at 19, 21, and 23. And then starting again at 28. We have a pane down here, position 37. And our last glass block here at position 60. Phase 23. We have, I believe, just 2 end rods here at positions 3 and 11. All right, starting with the galaxy, positions 4, 5, 6, and 7. This block here looks to be a pane, as does this one here, at positions 5 and 6. Glass here at 16, 19, 22, and beginning at 24, 26, 27, and onward. We have a pane down here, position 35. Another pane at the bottom of position 54. And our last glass block at 61. Phase 24. For this one, we have end rods at 49 and 61. For the galaxy, we have a couple of glass blocks at positions 3 and 6, 14, and beginning at 18. This glass block here appears to be a pane at position 35. And our last full block at position 60. phase 25. We have one end rod here at position 12. Two glass blocks, positions 4 and 5. Also at 15 and beginning at 17 onwards. We have an end rod down there at 45. Another one at 51. And our last glass block here at 62. Phase 26. We have one end rod here at 36. One glass block at position 3. And beginning again at position 16 and onwards. There is an end rod at position 17. A pane here at position 23. And I believe our last glass block here at position 60. Phase 27. So here looks like we have a couple of end rods. We have one here at 3. Another one here at 31. And then two more at 52 and 55. Starting to work our way into the main disk of the galaxy now. A couple of glass blocks out here, positions 4 and 5. One at 12. And more beginning at 15. We have an end rod here at 16, a pane below that here. Another pane here at 21. And our last glass block here appearing at 63. And as we go, I know some of the lighter blue blocks is going to be a little hard to see. So if you're ever in doubt about what a block is, it's probably going to be a full blue block. They generally tend to be the hardest to see. They're like right there and back here as well. So if you come upon a stained glass block, you're not really quite sure of the color, just pick any color you have in your inventory of stained glass and just put it down there. As I said, the exact colors of the blocks aren't as important as the correct position of the block. Phase 28. Don't see any end rods down there in phase 28. We do have glass block here, position 3. And more blocks here starting at position 13. I think I see a pane here at position 17. There's a pane down here, position 31. An end rod at 33. And our last block's here at position 60. Oh, where's my sign? That sign is missing. That's going to be what, phase 29 back here then. Let me make sure. Where my sign disappeared. So we just did 28, so that for sure has to be 29. Are there any end rods? There's one. There's one down here at position 55. All right, so full block of glass here at position 2. And then glass over here starting at positions 13. An end rod at position 19. Another end rod at position 54. And last glass block at position 62. Phase 30. Let's see, where are we going to have our first blocks? Down here at position 28. And 61. And 70. All right, so our first glass block appears here at position 3. And then they start at positions 13 and 15 and continue on. And our last block here at position 63. Phase 31. Let's see, one end rod all by itself down here at position 70. For the galaxy, we begin at position 11. I see a pane down here at position 38. An end rod at 46. Another end rod at 59. And the last block here at 65. phase 32. End rod, position 6. I don't see any more. Glass block, position 2. And beginning here at 14. I see a glass pane down here at the bottom of position 59. And the last one at 67. Phase 33. I see no end rods in phase 33. First glass block appears here at position 11. I see a pane here at 33. And another pane down here at 44. And our last glass block at position 66. Phase 34. End rod, position 2. And I don't see any more. So the galaxy begins here at position 9. And then beginning at 12 and onwards. We have an end rod down here at 38. And you will also notice down here behind these signs, we have more filler blocks. And that means that, of course, these blocks here should be open, because we're getting very near the core of the galaxy, because we're going to have a little hole in the glass here that enables us to have a brighter galaxy core, like I remarked on earlier. Let me see. I pointed out the end rod. We have this end rod here at 47. A glass pane here at 52. Another glass pane there at 62. And the last block at 67. Phase, my sign's missing. I put all these signs here already. Which phase is that going to be? It's going to be whatever less than this one is. Phase 35. Phase 35. That means this one should have been 34. Let me just go back and check. Yes. All right. So I have a missing sign, but that should be phase 35. There appear to be no end rods down there, so we'll start with the galaxy beginning at position 11. We have 3 end rods in a little cluster at 17, 18, and 19. A glass pane here at 31. And we're at the core of the galaxy here. So we have an end rod here at 39. But otherwise, from 34 down to 40, we want to have those blocks open. And the glass ends here at position 66. All right, phase 36. End rod, position 1. Position 18. 28. And there's going to be a fourth one in this one. 55. All right, now let's look at the galaxy. We got a lot to build because we're right in the core of the galaxy now, so it's a big cross section. So here, starting at position 10 and moving right. We have a pane down here at 25. And here we're in pretty much the very core of our galaxy. Very brightly lit, of course. And you can see we have all of these blocks missing from 33 down to 41. All of these blocks here should be open. I just broke something. There was a stained glass block of something there. It's probably a white stained glass. Like I said, the stained glass colors, you can just, put them wherever you want to. You don't have to get them exact. It's a forgiving build in that sense. That you don't have to get all the blocks exactly right. You can just get them close. Being an organic shape, of course. We have a pane down here at position 57. And the last one at 65. Phase 37. We have a end rod at position 33. And just that one. So the galaxy begins here at position 8. And then starts at 11, 12, 13, going onwards. We have a pane here at position 16, right there. Another one down here at 26. The galaxy core now is just solid sea lanterns. Below that, from positions 33 to 41, you want to leave all of those as air gaps in the black glass. We have an end rod at 44. And our last glass block here at 66. Phase 38. I see one lone end rod down here, all alone at 66. The most unfortunate position. Down here at block level, position 10, our first block of glass, and starting at 12, 13, 14, and onwards. We have a pane here at 15, glass pane. Another one at the bottom of 21. And then here again for the galaxy core, or the glass down there at the bottom, positions 33 through 41 leave as air. There's another pane down here at the bottom of 57. And one last block at 65. Phase 39. We have a number of end rods at position 10. (47) and 57. For the galaxy, for the glass, we begin at 11. We have an end rod there at position 43. And back down here for the core, positions 33 to 41. You don't want to place the black stained glass. We have a pane right here at position 46. And our last block at 63. Phase 40. I believe I see all the way down here, trying to hide out from us, at position 73 is an end rod. And then going back, starting at position 15, we have our first bit of galaxy. And then here for the core, from position, of course, 33 to 41, down there at the glass. You want to leave that open. And I see a pane here at position 58. And nothing else after 61. Phase 41. Couple of end rods at 43 and 68. All right, glass starting at 11 and 13 and starting at 16 and going onwards. Here at the core, from blocks 34 through 40 now. You don't want to place the black glass. We're getting close to just finishing the core. I think we're just past the edge of the core now. A pane here at position 50. And another one at 58. The last block at 61. And phase 42. The best phase. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. So here at position 8, we have an end rod, and I don't see any more down there. And no galaxy blocks until position 15. And a pane here at position 49. Another one down here at 52. And the last block at 62. And then back here for the glass from positions 35 through 39, you don't want to place any blocks at all. Phase 43. At 46 and 49, you have end rods. Only 2. For the galaxy, you have starting at position 14 and onwards. Not seeing any panes yet. An end rod down there at 53, though, at the bottom. And then the last block at 61. And then I think we might be past the core. Now, I'm not seeing any more blocks here. So our whole cutout for the galaxy core should be complete, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Phase 44. One end rod at position 38. And then the galaxy begins here at 15. We have a pane here at 25. And the last block's here at 59. Phase 45. End rod down here, position 2. And of course the other ones are all the way down here at 45 and 60. All right, the galaxy begins at 13 and 15 and onwards. pane here at 26. Another pane down here at 51. And the last block at 60. Oh, wait, I'm wrong. There's another one over here at 72. This must be the other edge of the other spiral arm. It's probably the end of that coming into view. That's neat. Phase 46. I see one end rod at the bottom at 65. The galaxy begins at 16 and onwards. A pane down here at 18. A pane down here at 49. And the last block at 59. Phase 47. Two end rods next to each other, 4, 5. And I don't see any more. The galaxy begins here with a pane at position 16. I mean, of course it does. This galaxy is no doubt a giant pane to construct. Aha, jokes. I know. I'm sorry. Bad jokes. Have to lighten the mood somehow. Okay, I'll stop. An end rod down there at position 35. Another one at 41. A glass pane down there at the bottom of 49. And a few stray blocks over here at the end. At 71. Phase 48. 3 end rods, positions 35. 57 and 66. All right, the galaxy begins at block 15. A pane here at 17, the top of it. An end rod at the bottom of 24 and 27. And blocks stop at 57. Phase 49. End rods at 9 and 38. Let's see, the galaxy begins at 17. We have a pane down here at the bottom of 28. Another one at the bottom of 33. Another one at 46. and 2 straggling glass blocks at 70 and 72. Phase 50. I believe that marks the 2/3 mark. And rods at 60 and 63 and 72. The galaxy begins at 16. An end rod at the bottom of 22. A glass pane at the bottom of 47. End rod at the top of 53. And a last block over here at 72. Phase 51. I see no end rods in phase 51. And the galaxy will begin at block 17. A pane here at 34. A pane, these look like 2 panes. We've got 2 panes on top of each other at 53. And 2 end blocks here. Phase 52. $37, $47, and $55. Galaxy beginning at 11, 14, 17, and onwards. End rod at 28. Another at 50. 2 panes at 53 on top and the bottom of the red nether wart. And ending at 68. Phase 53. I see no end rods in phase 53. 1 block here at position 12, and the galaxy beginning at 18. An end rod at 30. A pane down here at 38. Another at 44. Another at 53, the bottom. Then glass at the end. Phase 54. End rod 25. The galaxy begins with a pane at 14, right here. And then a full block, and then another pane down there at 15. A pane down here at 37. Another one on its lonesome down here at 53. And ending at 67. Phase 55. I see one end rod at 54. And the galaxy begins at block 12. There's a pane beside it at 13. Another one below here at 14. An end rod at 65. And ending at 68. Phase 56. End rod at 21. Galaxy beginning at 11. A pane down here at the bottom of 15. Two panes right here at 36. Another one down at the bottom of 37. And we end at 67. Phase 57. End rod position 1. Been a while since we had one at 1. 19, 30, and 38. Oh, and we've got a unprecedented fifth one down here at 56. That's what, 5 end rods. No, wait. I'm wrong. We have 6. One hiding down here at 73. No, we've gone from end to end. The galaxy begins at position 13. And then here at, let me see, 14, 15, and 16, we have 3 glass panes around that block of netherwort. 2 more panes down here at 21 and 22. Another pane here at 25, the top. Another pane at 37, 38, and 39. A little diagonal there of panes. And the last block's here at 66. Phase 58. End rod at 5, 19, and 58. Galaxy beginning at 14. End rod at 21 and 25. There's a pane at the top of 42, another one at 44, and ending at 65. Phase 59. End-rod at 24, 52, and 68. The galaxy begins at block 13, 15, 16, and 17, and picks up again at 21. An end rod at 23. A glass pane here at 58. And that's all there was. We stopped at 64. Phase 60. We have 4 end rods at 26, 40, 46, and 54. The galaxy begins with a few glass blocks here at 15, 18, and 19, and picks up at 22. We have a glass pane at the top of 36. And another at the top of 58. And we ended at 63. Phase 61. Position 4, an end rod, and one more at 58. All right, these is a lone glass block at 17, 21, and the galaxy starts at 23. There is a pane at the bottom of 28, and one here at 29. There is another pane at the bottom of 34, and here at 37. And we're probably stopping at 62. Phase 62. Although we're not stopping, I'm going to do them all today. End rod position 16 and 33. The galaxy starts at 24. There is a glass pane here at position 44. An end rod at 53. And we stop at 61. Phase 63. End rods at 16, 54, and 66. Oh, and 73. Let's see. Make sure I don't go back too far. Okay. So the galaxy begins at 21 and 23 and 25. An end rod at 26. a glass pane at the bottom of 34, an end rod at the bottom of 42, another at 57, and that's all there was. We stopped at 60. Phase 64. End rods at 25 and 50. The galaxy begins at 26. There's a glass pane at the top of 29. An end rod at almost the bottom of 42. A glass pane at the top of 47. And at the bottom of 51. And then we stop at 59. Phase 65. I don't see a single end rod down there. One lone block at 24, and then the galaxy starts at 30. We've now done one spiral arm in the core, and now we're doing the other spiral arm, so that's where we're at now for the rest of the phases. There's a pane here at 32. A pane at the bottom of 43. And almost the bottom of 46. And we stop at 58. Phase execute order 66. There is one end rod at 52, and that's all there is. The galaxy begins at 26, 28, and 31. There is a pane here at 45. Here at 53. And that's all there is. We stop at 57. We're in the home stretch now. Phase 67. I don't see a single end rod down there. The galaxy begins at 27, 28, and 32. There are, that looks like at least, I think I see two panes. There is a pane here and here at 44 and 45. There's another pane at the top of 51. And then we stop at 56. Phase 68. There is one end rod at position 61. The galaxy will begin at 27. There's a pane at the bottom. No, wait. That's not a pane. Never mind. My mistake. There's the pane. It's at 51 right there. And we stop at 54. Just got the outer edges now. We're getting real close. Phase 69. We have an end rod here at the bottom at 27, and I don't see any more. The galaxy is, we're at the outer edges of the final spiral arm now. We're at starting at 27. and going all the way to 49. Phase 70. I don't see a single end rod down there. We only got a couple of blocks left to place. Beginning at 27, 28, and 29, 32, 36, 39, 43, 44, 47, and 51. Phase 71. Don't see any end rods down there either. 4 blocks to place here at 28, 30, 46, and 49. Phase 72. Few last end rods here at 18 and 34. And no more blocks for the galaxy. Maybe we placed our final galaxy blocks, actually. Phase 73. We have a couple of remaining end rods, just a couple. One here at position 49. And that's all there is for that phase. In phase 74, our penultimate phase, we have one last one to place here at 34. And then, of course, for phase 75, you want to just cap off the entire thing with, a 9 by 75 wall of obsidian or blackstone or whatever block you used for the shadow box for the galaxy. And once you have done that, your scale model galaxy ceiling will be complete.